How you doing? Pick a card. Any card. Gonna have to pick those up later. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for The Sound of Music, a new Netflix original TV series, 6 episodes long, about an hour or slightly over. But is it worth your time? Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help up the channel. Thank you so much for supporting us. But for now, let's jump in. When she was little, Yoon Ai dreamed of becoming a magician. But in reality, she was just a high school student who couldn't even afford new socks. After meeting a mysterious magician at a carnival, she decides to follow her dream. I thought I knew what this series was going to be when I was going into it. And the kind of the new tack that I'm doing at the Ruby Tuesdays, we're doing animation, anime, and world cinema. So this was like right up my street. I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for this. Went in thinking it was going to be one thing. Ended up being, wow, this is much deeper than I expected it to be. Within the first episode, there are themes of bullying, there are themes of assault, and the way they put that into the story without it being really heavy is another thing I wasn't expecting. It's kind of a musical. There are 3 to 4 musical numbers throughout each of the 6 episodes. But it doesn't detract from the story that they're trying to tell. It feels like a kind of a school production, a play. Like you could watch this on stage, even so much so that they did a school production at the end of the credits of episode 6. If you switch off, if you've enjoyed this and you could miss this out, so this is kind of my little top tip. Wait till the end of the credits and then watch their kind of school play version. It kind of feels like everything was meant to be on stage. That's not, again, to detract from what this series has, because it has great production value. The sets for the carnival are so vibrant and mysterious and fantasy that it leans into the magic genre that it's going for as well. The thing is, where the trailers and the synopsis are saying it's about our young protagonist who's trying to look after her sister, who's trying to defeat debt and study and, deal with life, have a part-time job, we also have this mysterious carnival magician. But what's interesting is how much time this series spends on his story as well. So where our protagonist starts to get to know or find out a little bit more about the magician, you as the viewer really want to know more about his story. In fact, I would say that he is my favorite character. I really wanted to know everything that made him work. Is he magic? Is he not? What's in his background story that's made him end up being this type of guy that's pretending to be a magician or not pretending? It does, I guess it teeters on that line of, is he doing magic or is it illusion or is it sleight of hand? And that's fun to a certain degree, but when there are real life consequences and you kind of want magic to intervene, it kind of hits you with a gut punch and going, yeah, this is not really quite the fairy tale you think it is. There are still real life world consequences that you're going to have to deal with. And the actors portray those emotional bits when you need to be hit in the gut with something that's emotionally full of turmoil that you dislike, like bullying to quite a heightened degree, or assault, or starvation, or just things with life being in reality but also being hard. Then you add that little bit of magic and you keep wanting it all to be real, but you don't know if it is real. But by the time that you have, it ends up being so much more than that kind of fantasy, The Sound of Music. Its theme is much bigger than what it lets on to be at the beginning. So when you get to that end, I feel like it has been saying its message, what it wanted to get across, without preaching. And that's a fine line to do, because I've seen recently there's been a couple of Netflix movies where they had this. There was one particular one about apartheid that was just so preachy for the half of the film that they couldn't get outside of the message of the story, the moral of the story. Here, the moral of the story is a part of what the protagonists are going through without them preaching at you through monologues and exposition. And it does a really great job. And then we have really great acting as well from our protagonists. I think it can be a bit teenagerish, just a little I guess schoolish, but it is all set around that. The schoolish, I don't even know what that means, but you know what I mean when I'm talking about teenagers. You get a bit of teenage angst. There is a little bit of that, but I think it's more real. Like everything that they're going through, the bullying, the learning, the expectations of what parents are expecting from you as a student, the pressure that it amounts to. That is all showcased really well. So all in all, when it came to the end, I didn't mind the musical numbers because I'm not a huge musical fan. I think if you are, you're probably going to absolutely love this series. But if you stick those aside, I think the musical numbers work to elevate the series rather than demote it. And I think at the end, I really enjoyed this. I would give this 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. Sorry I haven't posted a lot lately. I've been going through a bit of a slump, kind of niching the channel to get it to what I want to do, enjoy the content that I'm producing. So like I said at the beginning, I'm going to be concentrating more on anime, animation, and world cinema. I won't be covering everything. There are so many great guys out there, guys and ladies that do cover a lot of the bigger titles. Chris from Movies and Munchies, who I collaborate with every week, does a great job at kind of covering those big titles as well. So you can check him out. But for now, I'm kind of niching. And I think in the long run, that will help the channel. So I hope you appreciate that. I hope you stick around with me and enjoy the reviews and the more in-depth stuff that I talk about. I like to try and do a balanced review, which is why I do Nicolas Cage's out of 5. The whole reason I have that grading system out of 5 is because Nicolas Cage's films go from terrible to great. And I feel like that gives a nice balance. You kind of understand what's going on there. So I want to do a bit more in depth without doing spoilers, unless I'm talking about the end of a series. And then we can talk about, you know, the varying genres of world cinema, how much there is. Netflix is kind of a champion of that, but there are other I guess channels out there now, or streamers, that are really kind of delving quite well into that. Apple TV is kicking ass in that as well at the moment. So this will be your one-stop shop for world cinema as well as anime and animation. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.